Dude, I've just heard a rumor of an NPC granting people's wishes in the real world. Crazy enough, I just confirmed those rumors. You know Elder Scrolls 6, the game that was announced several years ago but then kind of vanished off the face of the earth. Well, right now Bethesda's involved in a silent auction, and the winner of the silent auction gets to design an NPC for that game. But here's the magic sauce. All the proceeds go to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Seeing as I rule at character creators, I decided to win the auction and get my wish-granting NPC in the game. Okay, no need to panic. So it's the most expensive thing in the auction, more expensive than the 7-day luxury trip to Lake Como somehow. This just means to win, sacrifices need to be made. Rent is cheap here in Thailand, but the street is cheaper. And I'm pretty sure there's a guy that went a whole year without eating any food, so that's always an option. And I can just tell my girlfriend,
hey babe, you know that trip to Italy that you've been saving for? I got something you'll like better.
okay, yeah, I cannot afford that. I forgot that making dreams come true is for rich people. Unless... What if I create an NPC so good that the winner of the auction puts him in the game? One that takes inspiration from the greatest NPCs of all time with a backstory that'll twist your trousers and a design so dastardly you won't be able to avert your gaze. I'll start by looking to the greats for inspiration. I'm talking true legends amongst NPCs. I got 3 favorite NPCs that come to my mind immediately, and one that still haunts me to this day. It seems like every game he's in, I swear he's just trying to ruin my experience. So maybe avoid what he does. This first guy's probably the first memorable NPC in my life. I've been playing games with him since I was a child. The character that as soon as you start playing a game with him, you're looking forward to seeing him. And to be fair, he's more like a concept than a specific NPC per se. The last one is that he's in the Final Fantasy games. He's everyone's favorite mechanic, Sid.
Where to, folks?
This man has been in almost every Final Fantasy game with a new iteration every time, but he's usually connected to being a mechanic, and so you look forward to seeing him because that means that you get to use the airship. What I think we should take from Sid is that he has staying power, if nothing else. He gets iterated on, but he has a brand. He has something he's associated with, and he'll always show up in that capacity in the Final Fantasy game. So if I want my NPC to show up in other Bethesda games, then I need to give him a strong brand, something that he can be associated with across games and through iterations. So this next legendary NPC is going to be a deep cut for most of you. In fact, I haven't played a game with this NPC in several years. But that should go to show you how impactful he was. Because sometimes his voice still comes into my head. Even in a game with a bunch of kooky animal character designs, he stands out as still being weird. This one also a little bit, admittedly, skirts the NPC thing because he is playable in some games. To this day, maybe 20 years since I've played a game with him in it, I still wake up with his song blasting in my head. Well, if you don't get it from that, then you're probably not going to get it. It's Mumbo Jumbo from Banjo-Kazooie. This man, if I can call him that, is a mysterious shaman. If you're up on the Mumbo Jumbo lore, please fill me in the comments. I'd appreciate it. And finally, the last thing to know about him is he has great ad-libs. Now, the reason I want to use him as an example for our NPC is because he has an amazing design. I don't care what anyone says. He like perfectly balances looking dumb and funny looks as well as like, you know, maybe that's cool. You know, maybe it's cool that he's like a skull with feathers coming out of his head. Maybe that's a cool shaman thing. Moving on to the final legendary NPC that we want to emulate. This guy, when I first encountered him, I hated him. To be completely fair, when I first met him, I was like, why? Who is this guy? What is he doing? Second time I encountered him in a different game, I loved him. I don't know what snapped in my head, but he just was, he was still annoying. He was still the worst. Still treated me like garbage. Literally threw me away. Literally kicked me into a pit. But for some reason, the second time he did it, and the third time he did it, I was like, okay, this guy's got something going on in his personal life, you know? He's got something deeper to work out, some deeper issues, and I respect him for that. Similar to Sid, he is more of a concept. He doesn't play the same exact character in every game. He does annoying in the best possible way. It is Patches from the Souls series. Calls you over and is like, hey, look down there, there's some treasure down there. And then he kicks you into a pit, and somehow you fall for it every time. Or at least I do. I play Souls games, and then someone's like, hey, look over this treasure. And as suspect as it would be in a Souls game for someone to be helping me out, I just trust him. And it's always Patches, and he always kicks me into a pit. He sucks, and I love him. So what can I take away from Patches? Two main things, really. One, he is annoying in a way that enhances your experience in the game. Because like if there was a game with no trials, that game would be no fun. Patches is like an NPC trial, one that is appreciated, at least by me. And two, he has like big, what's this guy's deal energy. Like, why does he do that? Why does he kick you into a pit? I don't know. After you get kicked into 3 pits, you're like, the devs must know someone named Patches and hate them. He adds a fun annoyance to the game that I think that our NPC could replicate. And finally, moving on to a character, if Patches you love to hate, this character you hate to love. Like if there was a reason for me to yell at a video game growing up, this was the reason, the singular feathered reason. Like it's clear that he was made to be useful, but you can only be useful if you stay alive. You can't just die every 5 seconds and be useful still. Who am I talking about? Donald Duck from Kingdom Hearts. Oh my god. You have one job, really. Just heal me. Just make sure I'm getting healed. Okay, just waste all your magic. And then die. Sorry, I really just added him to the list because I wanted to rant about him. So now we'll use that to create the ultimate backstory for our NPC. He'll need the staying power of Sid. He'll need the design that strikes a balance of stupid and cool like Mumbo Jumbo. And he'll also need the pleasant annoyingness and the mysteriousness of Patches. And nothing from Donald Duck. Nothing from Donald Duck. Alright, let's get these creative juices flowing. Let's write a backstory, but not just any backstory. A backstory fit for an NPC that can grant wishes. I think it's only fitting that this NPC is a genie of some kind, you know, with the whole wish granting. So let's think of a name that can rival some of the greatest genies of the past. We got Genie from Aladdin, Kazam from Kazam, and now, welcome to the Genie Name Hall of Fame, Wishtifer. Before we get into Wishtifer's backstory, I want to say the nerdiest thing that I will ever say. I love writing character backstories. I blame Dungeons & Dragons. Shout out to my first Dungeon Master, DeVoe. Anyway, back to something less nerdy. Once there was a poor orphan banished from his desert village for stealing, left to die in the sand with nothing, not even the clothes on his back. Wandering through the desert on the brink of certain doom, he stumbled across an ancient, cracked lamp. Instead of making a wish to save himself, he thought of everyone else that was as desperate as he was in that moment, and he wished he could save all of them. And you know how genie wishes work, they don't exactly work the way you want them to, so this wish did work, but not the way he intended. Ooh. He received magnificent powers, but because of the crack, and I want to note, the lamp has always been cracked, alright? The devs shipped it cracked and they refused to patch it. But I digress. Yeah, thanks to the crack on this unpatched, bug-ridden artifact, his magic has some minor quirks. Even when he made his wish, it changed his appearance and now he looks a bit kooky. That might just be an excuse for me to make his design ridiculous. But in addition, he can only grant wishes to those in true desperation. And so that's the backstory I have for Wishtifer, but let's think about the gameplay implications that this could have for an NPC. I think it could make for a super funny side quest. First, the only way Wishtifer will show up is if you have no equipment, no items, and no money. They'll come to you and they'll offer you a variety of options. You want gold, you want XP, you want a rare crafting material. It could be anything, just depending on how big the devs want to make his role. Second, the player's wish would be met with some kind of dumb result. Maybe like a temporary, stupid looking aesthetic change, or maybe like some kind of trial. Or my favorite, all of the NPCs think you're a bear for 2 days, and they freak out when they see you. Finally, Wishtifer would find you after a few days and correct the issue and grant your wish. With a backstory like that, he wouldn't just be an NPC, he would be the NPC, a legendary NPC. And now, it's time to bring him to life the best way I know how. A character creator montage. There he is, Wishtifer in all of his glory. I tried to make an AI portrait of him, but for some reason ChatGPT just wouldn't do it. Making Wishtifer, I got caught up in the story and the character, and it started to feel like it was real. Like I was actually gonna be putting a character in Elder Scrolls 6, and he was actually gonna be like a wish-granting NPC. But it's now dawning on me, I'm realizing that that's of course not gonna happen, because I'm a small creator, and the winner of the auction is probably never gonna see this video. But you know what? It doesn't matter because Wishtifer has already, in fact, made a real world impact. The genuine truth beyond this video is that when I first read the article headline about being able to design an NPC for Elder Scrolls 6, I was like pumped. Because I thought that it was going to be some kind of lottery system. But then when I saw that it was a silent auction, I was really bummed because, you know, I didn't even have a chance because I just didn't have money. But after going through this admittedly fun process of creating Wishtifer, I realized it's not even my wish that he would be granting in the first place. He would be granting the wishes of the Make-A-Wish kids. So I read a bunch of their stories and it was just, man, it was so simple and pure. There were things like sing in front of a crowd or create a candy like Willy Wonka or even just go to Disney World with my family. Oh my gosh. I'm glad I didn't record myself reading them because did these glasses get foggy? Boy did I start getting a little teary-eyed. And so while I probably can't get Wishtifer into Elder Scrolls 6, it doesn't mean that he can't grant wishes. I'm not Mr. Beast, so I can't win the auction with $50,000 or whatever, but that doesn't mean I can't do anything. And so I donated $10 to make a wish in Wishtifer's name. It did require a first and last name, so his name is canonically now Christopher Wishtifer. I know that this is just like a silly video, but if you do feel so inclined, if the glare of Wishtifer gets you there, it would be incredible if someone else could donate in the name of Christopher Wishtifer. That would be insane. There's a link in the description to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Now I'm gonna do my best to make sure Todd Howard sees this video, and you never know, Wishtifer could end up in Elder Scrolls 6. I'm definitely gonna play it now just in case, because my name is Terrence. I'm gonna keep playing games till I find the perfect one. Peace, love,